Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a lady from Nashville, Tennessee. She's a singer-songwriter, and she's a super mummy, and she describes her genre as a fun genre, and I like that. She's not in a box. Please welcome Olivia West. Hi, Olivia.
Hi. How are you, Allie?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just cooking a meal for my kids, so you hear sausage popping in the background.
I'll know why.
What's going on?
So, I think, like, hats off to you. You were a single mom. You have 2 children, right?
Yes, I do. They're turning into men very quickly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have a 31-year-old daughter, but I was a single mom, too. I can't imagine how you can balance the two. It's just like I said, hats off to you. I think that's awesome.
It's pretty difficult. It takes extra special kids, though.
Yeah, no kidding. I would imagine.
I give them more credit than I think I deserve, but that's all right.
Aw, that's awesome. Now, I just want to mention this briefly. I haven't gone and looked at it, but I'm going to. You have a blog about being a single mom, like raising your children while pursuing your career. It's called...
I call it Living the Life Story, a single mommy's adventures in becoming an overnight success.
Okay, I think that's awesome. I want to go check it out. Anybody else can go check it out. It's http://liviewest.com. So if people want to go check that out, please do.
Yeah, because Livy's always been my nickname.
Yeah, that's
so
like...
L-I-V-I.
Yeah, L-I-V-I.
Middle of Olivia.
Now, when did you start getting interested in music, and how has your journey been to, like, now?
You know, honestly, there's not a when, because I was just born this way. I always loved music. My father was a worship leader and preacher at church, and we were Church of Christ, so lots of harmonies and a cappella, which, you know, makes you a little bit more picky about your tuning, your pitch, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And we carried a pitch box everywhere. And when I was growing up as a kid, we never had a working radio in the car, you know, and we always drove these junkers. We were so poor. We had a lot of money in that. And so we were always so poor, and we had these broken down cars that didn't have working radios. And my parents would just sing harmony in the front seat, you know, and that would be life, you know. So I was 4 when I started learning how to harmonize. I started speaking when I was 9 months old. I started speaking in full sentences, and I would make them rhyme. And I would try to sing them, and I would ask for a cup of milk. Like, my whole life was a musical. I'd be like, "Can I have a cup of milk, please?" I'll even get down on my knees, and I was like a little bitty kid going around singing everything.
Wow, that is
cool.
Making
up everything. So I was 4 when I first started writing songs. I was in preschool, and my very first song that I used to make people sing along to, my very first song, it was a song. I was 4, and I was in preschool. I distinctly remember writing it, too. My mom picked me up from preschool, and we were driving home, and I looked out the window of the car, and this boy that was like a grade older than me that used to chase me around the playground smiled at me, and I was inspired, and I wrote this cutesy little song about how you don't know if it's love or friendship, and it was really cheesy, and everybody in my family sang along to it, and so I used to make them sing along to all this cheesy stuff, and by the time I was old enough to actually write the lyrics down, my parents made me fix it. So if I had a bad line or a cheesy line or a line that didn't make sense, they would make me change it. Wow. And so I became a very picky songwriter at a very young age. And then by the time I was 11, I learned to play guitar. 12, I was singing professionally. I mean, it's literally been my entire life.
Wow. I can't believe you started writing at 4 years old. That blows me away.
I was 4. And what's really funny is that I have a song on, actually it's the title track of my album, Rock Yourself to Sleep, that my oldest son wrote with me when he was 4.
Oh my goodness. So it's a family tradition.
It was his idea and everything.
Wow. Well, maybe
Yeah.
he'll be, do you think he's going to pursue it, or like singing, or?
Oh, he doesn't want to do what I do. He knows how hard it is, and he wants
Yeah.
to design video games, which is even harder. So he plays
Yeah.
piano, and he's going to make us some soundtracks.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
He's 13, and he's pretty brilliant.
yeah, no kidding. Well, it sounds like it comes from Mom, because you started when you were 4. That like I said, that blows me away. Now, this is a quote from you, and I love it. If it weren't for music, I'd be a soccer mom, but my kids don't like playing soccer. Good thing there's music.
Yeah, they don't. They're not soccer kids. They just aren't. We're outdoorsy. We like to hike. We're not like just like totally indoorsy or TV people, but we like to hike, and we like to adventure, and we like to go spelunking in caves and things like that. But we don't. They're not into organized sports. Now, I played basketball in school, but they don't even have an interest in doing anything like that. So.
Yeah, both my grandkids play football,
Yeah.
which is crazy, and I can't believe how much money it costs. So, yeah, I wish my daughter would just take them hiking.
So I'm grateful.
Yeah. Okay.
Grateful.
Now, you're, like you said...
Much better for us.
Yeah, exactly. You said your genre is a fun genre, and I like that you don't put yourself in a box, because I think... Like you said, you listen to so many people and get inspiration from so many different types of music. And I mean, I'm not a singer or songwriter, but I'm the same way. I listen to everything. And
Yeah.
at least, like, you can't, like, say, okay, I'm country, or I'm Americana, or which I never even knew Americana existed till I started doing this. And to me, Americana...
Well, Americana is sort of an ungenre, honestly. I feel like everything just kind of gets boxed in there when you can't define it.
I was just going to say that. For me, Americana is like, okay, I'm not country, but I kind of sound country. I'm not rock, but there's rock in there. I'm not pop, but there's pop in there. So yeah, that's why when I started, I was like,
Yeah.
Americana, huh? But anyway,
Yeah.
and I like that you say that you don't have to pick a genre. Honestly, you don't. I mean, why would you
don't.
have to?
Nobody has just one genre in their iTunes.
Yeah, exactly.
So you go on your music collection. Do you really just have one genre? Nobody has just one genre.
No. I mean, listen to country now. It's like country pop or country rock. It's not like the old-time country where it was just strictly country.
Right.
So, yeah, everybody's
Right.
everywhere.
And sometimes I like to write those old-time country songs, and there just isn't a market for them. So, I mean, that's just the sad truth is that, like, things change. Time changes. Time moves on. It doesn't mean that people stop liking it is the thing. So if you can just keep creating what's real, what's there, what inspires you, what makes you sing and dance, I mean, it's got to make you happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a friend who, actually one of my first friends here in Nashville, her dad, who recently passed away, his name's Tim Williams, and he wrote Three Wooden Crosses. He wrote Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up. He wrote Papa La Mama. He wrote If the Devil Danced in Empty Pockets, You Have a Ball in Mind. He wrote so many songs, like I can't even begin to tell you, but those are some of the biggest ones that you'll remember.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, she grew up in the music industry too, and so we hit it off and became fast friends when I first moved to Nashville. And her dad, who is by far and away one of the most brilliant songwriters ever, said that it isn't making people cry, laugh, or dance, then you aren't songwriting.
Wow. That is so true, right?
And that should be the only definition, right?
Yeah, it should be. Exactly. It should be. I like you. You think like me.
I don't think there needs to be anything further put on it. I've just honestly thought he said it best.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's why we listen to it. So it should be about that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Exactly.
now, like, you've played all over the place. You've played at where you first made your money starting out is the Truman Lake Opry in Tightwad,
Yeah.
And you've waited
In
tables.
Tightwad, Missouri.
Yeah. Wow. That's where you're from originally?
Hilarious. The check said Bank of Tightwad.
Oh
Tightwad.
my. That is too
I couldn't
funny.
believe it. I almost wanted to move there and like start a bank account just for that. I didn't have any money to start it with though because like we got a flat tire on Truman Dam on the way home, and I had to buy a new tire.
Oh
for the
no.
family.
So there went your first paycheck
Yeah.
from Tightwad. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
From the Bank of Tightwad. Yeah.
Now you've also waited tables, you've torn off roofs, you've cleaned houses, and then you ended up begging on stage with your tip bucket and your guitar. And like you say, Nashville's competitive and underpaid music scene. And it's true. I know a lot of people think that, oh, well, if you're a singer-songwriter, you're making all kinds of money. No, you're not. And most of the times...
And in Nashville, when you go to Music City and you're sitting at a bar enjoying the music, those musicians aren't getting paid by anybody but you and your tip.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that the bar's paying them lots of money, the bar's making so much money, why is the bar not paying them so much money? And that's just, simple supply and demand. There are so many musicians that they don't have to pay money because somebody will play there for free.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it became a thing ages ago, and nowadays nobody carries cash, so the tips have gotten worse and worse and worse.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful.
Yeah, I don't normally play for tips anymore, though, but most people who still do, I worry for them because I had such a hard time keeping groceries in the refrigerator off of tips, and I noticed a big difference over the 7 years that I was playing for tips here in Nashville. Like the first couple of years, I made a lot more money because people used to carry cash, and then they stopped carrying cash, and I made less money. And so I worry a lot for the musicians in this town that are trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
Not all of them are. Like in my situation, a lot of them, they'll be roommates and they'll share rent and they'll share their bills and whatever, and they're roommates with each other, and so it's okay. But I didn't have a roommate. You can have a roommate when you've got 2 kids.
Yeah. Wow, that's never even thought about it.
So it was hard to pay the bills that way.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, yeah, I feel bad for them too. I know a lot of them have other jobs because they have to support themselves. I know that I've talked to a couple of people who have gone to Nashville and they're squatting or they're sleeping outside or, because they don't have the money to pay the rent, but they want to get, the recognition.
And the cost of living has just gone through the roof here because it became an it city. And the cost of living has just gone completely through the roof.
Oh, that's too bad. Well,
it's
hopefully
terrible.
everybody...
But I don't have to fight that way anymore. So,
which is good.
I'm doing a little bit better myself. I just worry for anybody who's in a similar situation because had I been a struggling single mom, like when I first started out in today's environment, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, no kidding. You wouldn't be able to at all. And it's true. I don't care. I never carry cash on me. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. Now, you've played everywhere from the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame inductions at Lexington Center in Kentucky, Wicked Willie's on Bleecker Street.
That was amazing.
In New York. I guess that would be, right? The Frank Brown International...
I was the only person I didn't recognize at that particular event.
Really?
I was sitting back there going, who am I and why am I here?
Because you're talented. Come on. Now, you've also...
Well, they all embraced me once I sang.
Well, that's good. Before that, they were all kind of looking at you. Who are you? Why are you here? Oh, that's funny. Now, also, the Frank Brown International Songwriter Festival in Alabama, the Hard Rock and Tootsies in Nashville and Florida, and now my favorite, and when I go to Nashville, because it's on my bucket list, it's one of the places I'm going, the Bluebird Cafe.
I love the Bluebird.
Yeah.
It's an important part for songwriters it's an important step in every songwriter's life.
Mm-hmm.
It's an important feather in their cap.
Yeah, and
you get to town, if you're a serious songwriter, you audition at the Bluebird. And first, go find other serious songwriters by singing at the open mic. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's Nashville, and the Bluebird is an institution.
Yeah,
when
it is.
I first moved to town, which was some time back, I moved to town because at the time I was a Christian rock artist, and a Christian rock label, actually the biggest one around, the head of the A&R, which is the person who signs and develops artists, he asked me to move to town. Well, when I did, I didn't know anybody but him, and then he didn't call me back.
Oh.
So I moved to Nashville for this like surefire thing that was so not surefire when I got here, which you don't know before you move into town what the industry is even really like.
Yeah.
And so I was here and I had nothing else, and I was researching and I was trying to figure out how to find my feet, and I had done some research before moving as well. And I went to, the very first thing I did was that Thursday. I moved to town on a Tuesday. On Thursday, I still had boxes lining the walls, and I spent the whole day trying to record the only country song that I even remembered how to play on guitar, which I had written in 8th grade. And it was about my neighbors. And I spent the whole day trying to record that song so that I could take it to the pitch to publisher meeting at NSAI, because NSAI has great ways to help people find their feet if they're songwriters. So that Thursday night, I went to NSAI to the pitch to publisher meeting, and I pitched the song I wrote in 8th grade. And he took it, and he loved it. And so, I'm thinking, oh, Nashville's so easy. So I auditioned at the Bluebird, and they loved me, and they asked me to help decide who could play and who shouldn't play. And so I started taking the press kits home and reviewing them and deciding who else got to play there. And, I just moved to town.
Wow.
I was like, here I am helping decide things. But, I spent my whole life editing songs. I spent my whole life being picky like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I found my feet, and the Bluebird was a big part of it.
Wow.
They were really, it was really awesome because I could go there, and you go there when you first get to town, you go there and you sing at the open mic, and you meet other songwriters. And I met some of my first co-writers, and by the time that I actually sang at my Sunday night show, which is what you audition for, I had already done a couple of rounds because people had asked me to join their rounds, and I had the ability to help pick who else got to play that day.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of an interesting finding my feet, and I've been working for them for like a week or two when they invited me to a party in the publisher's backyard, like at their house. And I'm sitting there, and it's my first party that's going to have like a guitar pool around a campfire, and my first guitar pool in Nashville. And I'm sitting having a great conversation with a couple, and then an hour in, it turns out that the guy is the lead guitar player for Matchbox 20.
Wow.
And he was the first person I played guitar with in a guitar pool in Nashville. And he's still one of my friends, Kyle is. And it's funny because people don't think of that. I didn't think of that. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
In Nashville.
Yeah.
You don't think that you're going to be hanging out with famous people until you're famous. You don't think that that rock is going to be part of it. And yet, Justin Timberlake just moved to Nashville. I mean, I've bumped into Steven Tyler more times than I can count. It's a crazy kind of town, and it's almost magical if you're a musician. If you're not, then like you can just see them and go, wow, that's so-and-so, but you're not really supposed to talk to them or you'll get kicked out of wherever you're at. Oh. But if you're a musician and they consider you a peer, it's amazing, Yeah. I have hand-me-down clothes from Tiffany, the pop star from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
I used to play dress-up. With my Girl Scout friends, and we'd play dress-up and sing I Think We're Alone Now. And now I play dress-up with Tiffany.
Oh, my gosh. That's so cool.
I mean, it's a weird world, and it's like, it's real. It's all real. And I'm not world famous, I'm not a household name.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
With all of my favorite heroes, my favorite people, have lunch at Emmylou Harris's house. I mean, I have an amazing life.
Well, that's good.
And no, I'm not rich.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, even though you know all these people. Well, you're going to be, because your new CD, I love. I absolutely love. Now, I just want to talk about who you...
My son just said, I feel rich, though.
Yeah, well, there you go. As long as they feel rich, that's all that matters.
He's standing over here eating all the sausage I just cooked. Because he's got a huge stomach, don't you, Andy?
Yeah, and that's the 13-year-old?
Oh, cute. I feel rich, though.
Aw, that's cool.
I love when they pipe in on interviews.
I love that, too. Okay, so let's talk about some of the people that you've played music with, because it's awesome. You've been on a bill with John Rich, Lady Antebellum, Jared Neiman, the Hensingsons, Lee Brice, Steve Warner, Lori Morgan, Exile, the Kentucky Headhunters, and even Casting Crows.
Oh, those guys are so fun.
Yeah, I could imagine. I wish they would come on my show, but like I'm not a world famous person either, so I haven't got them on. The Pillars and Reliant K. And like you said, all the things that you're doing in Nashville, nobody's working harder than you are to get to the top of the charts. And doing it as a single mom is just awe-inspiring as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, congratulations.
Well, thank you. My boys love it. We get to see the world. You know, we travel everywhere on a song.
Yeah. I've never heard anybody say
amazing.
That. I like that saying. Now, some of your co-writers are huge. I'll try to get through them all. Okay, so you were with Greg Barnhill, who wrote House of Love and Walk Away
That's
Joe.
not even all of them on that list.
Yeah, there's lots of them. And like Walk Away Joe is a Trisha Yearwood hit, and That Kind of Day.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, and
he is so sweet. I met him during CMA Fest years ago. I was singing at a songwriter show with like a bunch of hit writers and like 3 people like me who aren't hit writers yet, but we write with a bunch of them, and then there was like, he was singing, and I was like, man, it took everything in me not to jump on stage and start harmonizing with you. He goes, oh, I wish you had, and I introduced myself. He goes, I've heard of you. I was like, you have.
Well, that's cool.
He was the first I've heard of you that I got in town, which was like pretty awesome to me.
Yeah. Now, you've also written with Mark Olivieris. She's a Whole Lot of Gone, Dos Divas, Reese Wilson, You Take Me Places I've Never Been, Not on Your Love.
Oh, gosh, Reese is a total genius. I adore Reese. He's crazy, and he's so much fun. I mean, we painted my living room together. It was hilarious. He's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Now, also Stan Webb, I'm From the Country. Rodney Jansen, Free and Easy Down the Road I Go, which is a Dierks Bentley song. The Hensingsons, You Lie, The Only Girl You Love All Your Life. Mary Frances, Whiskey If You're a Woman, one of my favorite songs. And Tonight the Heartache's on Me, as well as John Knight, Save Water, Drink Beer and Glass. And Amanda Williams, BEER Run.
Yes, and my friend Casey Zimmer that I've written songs with, he wrote Yeah Boy, which just came #1 pretty recently for Kelsey Ballerini.
Yeah.
And so like a bunch of my friends are like still climbing. So that list is not complete by any means.
Yeah. I guess not, probably.
It's a damn good one. Sorry.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know where you're going there.
That was my pots and pans. I was digging for pots and pans. Sorry. Still cooking.
It's okay. No worries. Now,
you have no idea how fast 13-year-old boys eat.
I have a 12-year-old grandson. Yeah, I do. And I swear to God, they have hollow legs. I don't know where they put and they're skinny and tall. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I couldn't even eat like that.
My 11-year-old is like, he's almost as tall as my 13-year-old, and he eats like 3 times as much as anybody I've ever met.
Yeah, and they don't get fat. I don't
nothing.
get it. Yeah.
I carry him around. He's almost my height.
Wow. Now,
hilarious.
I love you already. Like, just talking to you, I'd love to come and hang out with you in Nashville. Not to see anybody, just to hang out with you. Now, if you had any advice to give, like, any of these new artists that are starting out, what would that be, Olivia?
Like, advice for new artists, as a general rule, I try to explain to them how long it takes, because everybody thinks they're going to be the exception to the rule, you know?
Mm-hmm.
everybody thinks that it's not going to be that hard. It is. It's grueling. You know, there are great stories. It's fun. I'm not saying that I regret it in any way, shape, or form, but it is a grueling road, and it is not easy. And so I have talked to lots of people, and I'm always like, if you can do anything else, do it. Because if anything else in life will make you happy, you should probably pursue that, because music will break your heart several times before it ever pays off. And that's just how it is. And if there's anything else that'll make you happy, then maybe you're supposed to do that instead. Because most of us who are doing this at the professional level long term literally don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
And so the very first thing I do is check yourself. Check yourself. Because why? A lot of people love music. A lot of people enjoy music. A lot of people love singing. And that's great. But being a famous singer isn't all glory. It's not red carpets and radio interviews and television spots. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot more driving and loading your own sound equipment and playing in smoky bars and trying not to get hit on too much and dodging that sketchy guy that's trying to follow you to your car. And it's not easy. And so I'm definitely all about, if there's anything else you can do, think about whether you should be doing that. And then the other thing that I try to prepare people for is it's a very long time. When I first moved to Nashville, the very first gig that I did in town, Trent Tomlinson happened to also be there during the show, and he actually had One Week in the Fire on the radio at the time. And he was so sweet. He asked to buy me a drink, and I had literally never been to a bar before, except on my 21st birthday.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought he was hitting on me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm married, like that. And he goes, I didn't ask if I could take you home. I asked if I could buy you a drink. When to talk. So I let him buy me a Diet Coke. And I talked with him, and he told me that he saw so much potential in me, that what I was doing was great, and that all I had to do was keep it up. And he said that it took 7 to 10 years to succeed in this town. Now they've changed it. Since almost the same time I got here, they changed it from 7 to 10 to 10 to 15.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's a long haul. Everybody in your family will give up, because you'll get excited and you'll have your hopes up, and they all think you're just name-dropping. You know, when I talk about Trent Tomlinson, I'm not name-dropping. When I sang at the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame, I texted him. It was my 7-year anniversary. I texted Trent. I said, oh, my gosh, it's been 7 years when I'm singing at the Hall of Fame. And he and I bump into each other all the time, and he's been through a divorce, and I've been through a divorce. And, you know, I mean, it's life. It's a long haul.
Yeah.
And you're going to get excited, and people are going to get excited for you. And then it's not going to happen. And not only your heart is going to get broken, but your mom's heart is going to get broken.
Yeah.
And your brother's heart's going to get broken. And your uncle's heart's going to get broken, because they all have their hopes up. And then it's not going to happen. And then you're going to get your hopes up again, and then it's not going to happen again, and you're all going to get heartbroken again. Eventually, your family stops getting their hopes up.
Yeah.
And if you can keep getting your hopes up, that's the key.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's brutally honest, and that's good. I ask everybody that comes on my show.
Honest.
Yeah, it's honest. And I mean, that is the way it is. I mean, not every stage is going to be like The Voice, or America's Got Talent or American Idol or whatever the case may be.
And
I mean,
most of the people who won The Voice and America's Got Talent and American Idol, where are they right now?
Yeah, and I was just going to say that. There's not too many of them.
That's just it.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie Underwood
Even the winners aren't anywhere right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is competitive, and I know I'm interviewing all these indie artists. I know what it's like, and I know that there's lots of people wanting to do this. And I mean, it's
it's so much more than talent. It's so much more than talent. It's about the right song. It's about work ethic. It's about a positive attitude. It's about the ability to hear the word no over and over and over again and still hope for a yes.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Well,
We have to literally be crazy because that is the definition of crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. And yeah, you have to be crazy to want to make it because it is, like you said, it's grueling. It's hard work. Now, you have a couple of CDs out. I'm going to talk about the CD that we're going to play the 2 songs from. Now, it's
I
called...
have 3 CDs out.
Yeah, 3. What are the other 2?
Alone and Personal and Rock Yourself to Sleep.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready to start crowdfunding a 4th CD. I've never crowdfunded before. I've actually recorded all my other CDs for free, and that's fun. And I enjoy that. But I want to have a little more control over what the outcome is. So I want to crowdfund and actually pay for this one.
Okay.
And so I'm letting everybody be part of it. And I haven't even put it up on my website yet. I'm just preparing everybody and letting people know I'm going to do it. The album is called Playing with Toys, and it's going to be a lot of the songs that I wrote for guys to sing.
Oh, okay.
And songs about playing with toys.
Okay. Well, everybody, once it gets up, please help Olivia with the crowdfund. I mean, yeah. I mean, and then I tried doing it's GoFundMe for this show, and I got $5. So I hope you have way more luck than I did. Yeah, it's not easy.
It isn't a guarantee by any
No.
means. But the fun thing is I've got really fun incentives. The cover art for the album is a painting that I painted.
Oh.
And so one of the biggest incentives is you can actually get the original painting.
Oh.
I'm also going to have reprints of the painting as one of the incentives. And, of course, house concerts and even writing a song about your story. Whatever you want, you can have a song written for you. So I'm going to have some pretty fun incentives that maybe your average artist doesn't have.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And I know you say it's dangerous to know you because you write about other people's lives that you know as well as you. That cracked me up. I'm like, okay, be careful what you say. I know, anyways. Now, you are going to be involved in CMA Fest, which is coming up right away.
Yes.
Okay.
This week I've got a show on Friday and a show on Sunday.
Wow. Okay. Well, good luck with it. I mean, that's one of my, like I said, it's on my bucket list. I want to come down to CMAs for the interviews, but just to see Nashville and to kind of soak it in because I've heard so many different things about it from different people. So, now what to...
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, it sounds like it can be either or. So I'm hoping for the either.
Yeah.
Now, what 2 songs?
It's mostly been good for me.
Yeah, and good for you. I'm glad.
But there have definitely been heartbreaking moments.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you put that advice out there too. That you are going to get heartbroken and get used to being told no, and just keep going if that's what you really want to do. Now, what 2 songs are we going to hear from you, Olivia?
Kiss Me Like a Girl and Fall Into Love.
And that's off of your Kiss Me Like a Girl CD.
Off of Kiss Me Like a Girl, which is all love songs. And they're mostly love songs written to no one, honestly. They're just like my ideal situation because I'm not in a serious relationship. I've been dating a few guys, but none of them are very serious. And that's, I don't really have time for a serious relationship.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that's just life. And then, but I have an ideal of love, having been through divorce and having been through that, and also through the heartache of my mother and father were madly in love. They were madly in love. They made out on the couch. When people would say, "How long have your mom and stepdad been married?" Because my dad is half Cherokee, and I don't look like I'm a quarter Cherokee. I'm like strawberry blonde, and I mean I do. I look Cherokee. I look almost exactly like my dad, just colored wrong. And so people would go, "How long have your mom and stepdad been married?" And I would go, I'd be like, since a year and a half before I was born. Like, why are they making out all the time? Like, they just can't keep their hands off each other. They were madly in love with each other, and it was beautiful. And I saw that. And then my father passed away when I was 15. I saw my mother go through that devastation of widowhood, and then through the hope of finding new love again. And so it's real.
Yeah.
It's real love, and it may not all be my story. Some of it's my friends. Some of it, 3 of the songs on there were written for friends of mine's relationships, and one for a wedding no, two for a wedding and one engagement. And so there are 3 love songs on there written specifically for real life in love couples that are close to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them are just written about my experiences, things I've seen, and what I want in life.
Exactly. What your idea of love is.
So.
Well, they're very good. The whole CD is
Yeah.
really good. I've listened to all of them. I want to just tell you, Cherry Red Mustang is off another CD. I love that song. I absolutely love it.
That's the one that my son helped me write the title track on.
Oh, really? Well, that's so cool.
Cherry Red Mustang is about my very first love, Kevin. And I used to write love songs for him from, like, first grade on, like, so many love songs for Kevin. It's ridiculous. But he had a blue Corvette, but I want a red Mustang. So what I decided was to put into the world that he drove a red Mustang because I want a red Mustang.
Ah.
So I figured if the song became famous, Ford might make that happen for me.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to think of a name for a different segment on my website that's named after a car. Anyways, I love that song. I just wanted to put that out there. So we are gonna hear "Kiss Me Like a Girl" and "Fall into Love." Now, I'm urging everybody to go everywhere that you download your music. Please pay for it, and download Olivia's song. Yeah, pirating kills. I mean, there's so many different things that are so against artists these days.
Well, even streaming is killing, honestly, because we're only getting fractions of pennies.
Yeah,
it's literally like 3 or 4 zeros in front of that one after the decimal point.
God.
So it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, even if you don't have a CD player, if you're watching live music and the person's really great, even if you don't own a CD player, buy their CD.
Yeah, exactly.
Buy their CD, give it to somebody else. Buy their CD and use it as a coaster or hang it from a mobile over your baby's crib. But buy their CD because that's how we fund the music. If people aren't paying for music, we can't keep making it.
Exactly. And yeah, support your local artists, or even not your local, but support your favorite artists. And that's the way to do it.
Because all of us are kind of local artists.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
I'm local to everywhere.
Yeah. And I like having you on. It's been a blast. Like I said, I want to come to Nashville just to hang out with you. But I want to say,
well, you should. I have a beautiful log cabin on 200 acres.
Oh my God, Kay, don't. I'm going to be there like tomorrow. No, I have to get my passport first.
I do.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I'm going to let you know when I'm coming. Olivia, it's
let me know. We'll set up the cot.
Awesome. I'll be there. Thank you so much for coming on my show. You're a blast. I love you. I love your attitude. You have made me smile throughout this whole interview. So thank you so much. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope you soar, and I hope I help out somehow. And as I tell everybody, my door is always open. Anything new happens, anything that you want to share, hit me up on Twitter. You can come back on my show anytime. So,
absolutely. I'll come back on and whenever we actually start launching the crowdfunding, and I'll play Playing with Boys for you.
Okay, that sounds like a darn good idea, because every Wednesday now I'm doing a live, well, it's not live because I pre-record everything, but people are coming back on my show that have been on my show, or new artists, and they're performing Wednesday nights via Skype, and I'm putting it up on my website for everybody to enjoy. Then this Wednesday it starts, so yeah, I'm very excited about it, so yeah, definitely come back.
Awesome. Very exciting.
Yeah, now your website...
Well, I would love to be part of that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me know when your crowdfunding starts and we'll get you on. Now, your website is oliviawest.com. It's going to be up on my website so people can find you. And then, now on your website, is your blog on there as well? Like a way to get to it, or it's completely...
Yeah, there's a link to it.
Okay. So I urge everybody to go... I'm going to go look at it because I can tell it's probably going to be funny just from talking to you. So...
it's really funny and it's really crazy, but I haven't updated it in a little while, and so this is a good reminder.
Yeah.
I really do need to update it.
Well, I'm sure you've got lots on the go. Well, good luck with CMA Fest.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Have fun. And like I said, thank you so much for coming on, Olivia.
All right. I'll talk to you later, Allie.
Okay. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.